Welcome, friends and fiends, to Buried Bones. I'm your host, Cerberus, and I've got a cinematic treat for you in this episode. I have for you a neat film noir called The Chase from 1946. Now, I'd never even seen this until I started looking for a new movie to show, and I'm so glad I found it. It stars Robert Cummings, Michele Morgan, Steve Cochran, and none other than Peter fucking Lorre. It's directed by Arthur Ripley, a solid filmmaker that had worked with Frank Capra and W.C. Fields in the early days of film. He directed around 30 short comedies, but was probably best known for his last film, Thunder Road, with Robert Mitchum in 1958. The Chase was released to mixed reviews, and most audience and critics say the same thing. It's good, but confusing. And it is! This movie has all the elements that make up a great good film noir. Our conflicted hero framed for murder, an awesome villain, the gorgeous paranoid damsel in distress, and of course, Peter Lorre being Peter fucking Lorre. So the first time I watched this, I got completely sucked in. I was really loving it when, wham, it throws this serious curveball into the story. It's an interesting twist that still leaves me fascinated and thinking about the film today, but it threw me for a loop on the first viewing. Once the twist was revealed, I spent so much time after that trying to wrap my brain around it that I didn't really enjoy the rest of the film as much as I wanted to. It took a second viewing for me to really fall in love with it. My plan in this episode is to help you out with that. Without spoiling any of the plot points or story, I've planned the breaks at key points so that we can all catch up together. Because you see, they pulled a Bobby Ewing on us. Now, if you're younger than Generation X, you won't get the reference. But what it means in TV tropes is a ridiculous dream sequence backtrack. The Chase does just that. At some point in the film, we will get an all just a dream explanation combined with a little amnesia of the events prior to the dream. Now, our main character, Chuck Scott, is a fantastic slice of Americana. He's a recently returned veteran, and we first see him on the sidewalk watching a man cook breakfast in a diner that he obviously can't afford to cook in or eat in. It's a classic fellow American who's down on his luck. The anxiety of the situation causes him to take a pill that he gets out of his pocket. And as the film progresses, we learn that Chuck has pretty severe PTSD. I want you to make note of how the film treats this because his condition is vital to the storyline. Essentially, the dream sequence creates this kind of alternate timeline. And as a viewer, we have to figure out where they diverge or don't, right along with the hero. A couple of fun things to watch for are how they dress and frame Michele Morgan for this role. They have draped her in swanky gowns and jewelry and made her look as glamorous as possible. She does a great job as the gangster's mom. Now, Steve Cochran as the gangster, Roman, is chilling. Early on, they establish what a monster he is, and it makes his cool and collected delivery in the rest of the film just drip with menace. He also has this cool James Bond-like backseat control of his car. It's pretty bonkers. So, I'll return in a little while with some really interesting info about Robert Cummings. He had a strange and tragic life. I'll set you up with some more clues and details to watch for too. So let's get started on The Chase from 1946, right here on Buried Bones.
I see Mr. Roman?
What do you want to see him about?
Well, I'd like to give him something that belongs to him.
What do you want?
Can I see Mr. Roman?
What do you want to see him about?
I'd like to give him something that belongs to him.
Come inside.
What was it you just said at the door?
I said I wanted to see Mr. Roman.
What for?
Well, I've got something for him.
Could mean a lot of things. What have you got?
You're not Mr. Roman.
How do you know?
Well, you just don't fit.
Is it all right, Mr. Gino?
I guess it's all right. But I'll take him in myself. Come on. Wait here. See Eddie there.
I like it. That's all right. You're a good barber, Miss Cornish.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Rowan.
How do you feel? I mean, how's it feel being a barber? Cutting men's hair. It feels good, huh? And look at her. Hey, she's blushing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Roman. You moved.
But you didn't. Quick enough. Get her out of here. Stupid dame.
The beast. A filthy beast.
Hey, you. That's him.
What can I do for you, Jack?
Are you Mr. Roman?
That's right.
Thought you'd like to have this back.
Is it mine?
It's got your name in it.
Where'd you find it?
Well, I don't remember the name of the street. It was in front of a restaurant, though.
How much was in it?
$81. I spent $1.50 for breakfast. There's $79.50 there now.
How do you like that for an honest guy?
I don't. Silly law-abiding jerk.
How do you like that? He comes all the way out here just because he found it. You know, you ought to get a medal. Gino, go buy him a medal.
Thanks. I got a medal.
Oh. Ex-GI, huh?
Yeah, yes, I was in the Navy.
I like him. I want to do something for him.
Give him a sawbuck.
That's the trouble with you, Gino. You have no appreciation for honesty. Tell me something. What made you bring the wallet back?
Well, I don't know. Now that I'm here, I wonder myself. I guess I'm just a sucker.
I like that, too. Can you drive a car?
Yes, sir.
You got a job. What do you need to show for school?
Fire Claiborne.
All right.
No, wait a minute. I don't want to take another fellow's job.
Take it easy, Jack.
The name's Scott. Chuck Scott.
Okay, Scotty. Hello, Fats. Fats, what do you do besides talking the telephone all the time? Been trying to reach you for 45 minutes. Oh, never mind that. How about Johnson? Did you contact him yet? Or what's he stall this time? Oh. I'll have him at my house for dinner Wednesday night. No, Fats, not Thursday. Wednesday.
Yes? Right. Be right there. Thanks, Job. Oh, Job. Like in the Bible? Kings, Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job? Fine, I won't forget it. Bye.
Come on, Tony.
Mr. Roman, there's something wrong. I can't slow the car down.
Relax, Scotty. I take care of all that back here. You just handle the wheel.
You mean you...
That's right.
Yes, sir.
He's right on time.
Eddie, you don't know how he drives.
We'll find out.
Maybe not.
How do you feel, Scotty?
Fine. But I don't get it.
Who does? Yeah, he's all right. He's a good chauffeur. You're all right, Scotty.
Thanks. What do we do now?
You take over. She's all yours. Well, Mr. Johnson, how do you like our little house?
Oh, it's charming. However, I never thought I'd enjoy the pleasure of having dinner here.
You know, Mr. Johnson had the idea I didn't like him. Just because he took away some of my business.
I guess he doesn't know you too well.
I must say there aren't many men would have taken it the way your husband has, Mrs. Roman.
Live and let live. That's my motto. Isn't that so, Gino?
Oh, the world is big enough for all of us. You too, Mr. Johnson.
Well, thank you, Gino. I have a very interesting house, too, in Havana. I'd be very pleased if you'd all come and visit me sometime. You've been in Havana, haven't you, Mrs. Roman?
No, I've never been there.
No, Mrs. Roman doesn't travel very much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Doctor's orders?
No, mine.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll let you go on with your business. Oh, good night, Mr. Johnson.
Good night, Miss Roman.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
She's lovely, isn't she?
Oh, she's beautiful.
How about a little brandy?
Well, I don't mind if I do.
Where's Tommy?
No, he behaved badly. I put him in a cellar.
Oh, Tommy's a dog. It's a big dog. Yes.
I'm not drinking alone, am I?
No.
No. Mr. Roman, could I ask you a very personal question?
Oh, yes, of course.
What is your business, really?
Gino, what business would you say we were in? Really?
No, I'd say the amusement business.
The amusement business?
Yes. Strictly for laughs. All kidding aside, Mr. Johnson, I still want to buy those 2 ships of yours.
But I don't want to sell.
Oh, maybe we can talk you into it.
What do you say, Mr. Johnson?
Well, I'll think it over.
Oh, no, that'll be too long.
I could let you know tomorrow.
No, tonight. Now.
Well, how much would you give me for them?
Nothing.
Oh, you're joking, huh? Oh. I've had a lovely evening, but I've got to run along. We can go into it further
Oh,
tomorrow.
no, you can't go now, Mr. Johnson, without seeing the rest of the house. Well, you haven't even seen the upstairs. Or the wine cellar.
Oh, we have a nice wine cellar.
Well, I would like to see the wine cellar. Napoleon brandy? 1815? Oh, Gino, I don't believe it. Why, I didn't think there was a bottle of real Napoleon brandy left in existence. Why, Gino, do you realize that... Gino? Gino? Hey, Gino? 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 Hey, Gino! Gino? Gino! Oh, no. Gino? Oh, no.
Turn off here, please.
Standing awfully close, miss. Think you better step back?
What happened to Claiborne?
Well, he's gone, miss.
It's Mrs. Roman.
I beg your pardon. I didn't know.
Oh, that's all right. I think I like it better the other way.
Is there anything I can do?
It's big. It's 3 years ago. If you can't do that, call me miss. And if you can't do that, just look the other way. You can go back to the car. What's out there, straight ahead?
Well, Havana, I think.
Have you ever been there?
Yes, I was a long time ago.
What was it like?
Oh, for me, it was cheap hotels, cheap restaurants, cheap friends. All places are alike when you're broke.
It would be worth $1,000 to me to get to Havana.
$1,000?
Yes.
Steamship tickets only about 30.
I could never make it alone.
Why not?
Have you ever been afraid? Really afraid?
What do you want me to do?
I want you to take me to Havana.
But why me?
I think I can trust you.
You mean you think I look like I, need $1,000, huh?
Have it your way. But I still think I can trust you. When can we go?
How soon can you leave?
Now, right this minute.
That's a pretty long swim. I'll check the sailings tomorrow. Think I better take you home now?
All right.
That'll be $42.20. Sign there, please.
2 tickets for Havana tonight, please.
I'm sorry, there's no space available. We're completely sold out.
Are you sure?
Just a moment. There may be a cancellation.
Right.
Yes, here's one. But it's a single cabin. Will that do you?
Yes, it'll have to.
How many tickets?
2. How much is that?
That'll be $57.60. Sign there, please. It's the SS Cuba. Leaves Pier 26 at 11 o'clock tonight.
Thank you, sir. Keep the change.
Thank you.
Hello?
I'll take it, Job.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
I got the tickets for Havana. It's on a ship called the Cuba. Leaves 11 o'clock tonight. Now listen carefully. Have dinner with him as usual. At 9:30, say you want to take a drive. I'll be waiting in my room. Now, don't you call. Have Job call as usual. I'll bring the car around. No, don't worry. They don't know where I am. Yes, I'm picking him up at the Union Bank now. Good. See you later. Bye.
Thursday. Any particular boat? Let's see my dear. I don't care. Flowers, did you take care of them? Huh?
Yeah, red and white roses, big anchor. $150. You know, Eddie, 15 years ago in Cicero, same roses, the same anchor, could have picked it up for a double sawbuck. Maybe 2 bits. $150. Brother, I don't care what they say, that's inflation.
Scotty.
Yes, sir?
Mrs. Drummond goes for a drive almost every day, doesn't she?
Yes, sir.
Where does she go?
Nowhere in particular.
What do you mean, nowhere?
Well, just along the beach.
Always the same place.
Yes, sir. Yes, same place.
How do you know that?
I didn't. I want to go there, Scotty.
Now?
Now.
Yes, sir.
What does she see out there?
I wouldn't know.
What do you see out there, Scotty?
Sky, water.
Must have a special meaning for her. What does it mean to you?
I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist.
You don't have to be to figure this out. Is that right, Gino?
I'd say she was contemplating a voyage.
Did she ever say anything to you about it?
Why would she tell me?
You've got the kind of face women like to talk to.
plan is in place. All they have to do is execute it. Chuck will pick her up at 9:30 when she calls for their usual drive, and they will head for the dock with tickets to Havana on the Cuba. Chuck has laid down to wait, and Roman is suspicious that Lorna might be contemplating a voyage. Director Arthur Ripley has gotten some seriously great performances out of this cast. Everyone is so underplayed, restrained almost. There's real chemistry between Robert Cummings and Michele Morgan, and you'll see coming up, they have a real Bogey and Bacall moment later on that's pretty steamy, even for a Havana nightclub. The story unfolds in segments, small set pieces that he ties together really well with some thoughtful transitions. No shortage of artsy camera usage and use of shadow. Watch for how the director frames a scene on the boat using shots through the portal from the outside. And check out the cool camera movement and crowded feel we get in the nightclub. And then the amazing chase through the slums of Havana. Now, speaking in the nightclub and slums, the sets have been dressed beautifully. Notice the gilded opulence of the nightclub juxtaposed with the grittiness of the streets that surround it. The attention to detail on the sets is amazing. There's even a quiet buddy chemistry between Roman and Gino. They're obviously very comfortable around one another. Gino isn't just muscle. He's trusted counsel, too. He doesn't freak out when Roman has his moments of violence or cruelty, as if he's pretty used to it. Personally, I thought this was one of Peter Lorre's most confident performances. He moves through this film with some serious big dog energy. He's a small man by stature, but he still manages to be very intimidating. Steve Cochran gives an amazing turn as our villain. Even sitting still, he gives the feeling of a panther pacing back and forth about to pounce. He gets this 1,000-yard stare that for some reason just gives me the goosebumps. He even manages to out-creep Peter Lorre in this one. Robert Cummings gives a solid turn as the hero of the film. He is likable and believable and doesn't overplay the part. I like the way the part is written. He is smart and has a moral compass, but we get the impression it's a struggle sometimes to follow it. Everyone in the cast does a great job. They all have great and noteworthy careers in front of the camera, and I recommend looking for more of their work. While digging up some buried bones about the movie, I found out that Robert Cummings led a life that would make a great movie by itself. He led an outrageous life and himself lived as both hero and villain. He grew up in Missouri, and before he even got out of high school, he had learned to fly and managed to buy his own airplane. Turns out, Orville Wright of the Wright brothers fame was his godparent and distant cousin. Now, for years, he spread the false rumor that it was Orville he learned to fly from. After high school, he lands at Carnegie Tech in Pittsburgh studying aeronautics engineering. He's forced to drop out, and when his parents lose everything in the 1929 stock market crash, that's when he decides to become an actor. Having trouble breaking into stage acting, Cummings hatches a devious plan. He cashes out an insurance policy and buys a round-trip ticket to London. When he gets there, he starts traveling around England on a motorcycle, learning the land and mastering an English accent. While his bike is broken down and being repaired, he pays a janitor at a theater to put a fake display on the marquee reading Blade Stanhope Conway in Candida, and take his picture in front of it. He makes 80 prints of the picture, prints up 80 cover letters from a fictitious theater company introducing him as Blade Stanhope Conway. What a mouthful. And sends them off with London postmarks to producers and agents all over New York. He acquires a distinctly British wardrobe for himself and heads back to America to numerous stage offers as his new identity. Now, the ruse doesn't last too long, but enough to establish him in the stage acting business. Later on, he decides to break into film acting and does the same thing. He works up a Texas accent, gives himself the name Bryce Hutchins, buys boots and a cowboy hat, and heads for California. The nerve on this guy. He lands a few roles this way, but is found out pretty fast. However, it's showbiz, and everyone has a fake name. He finally begins to use his own name and starts the rest of his career as a dramatic film actor. Now, when the U.S. government starts to license flight instructors in America, Cummings is issued license number 1. And immediately after Pearl Harbor, he forms a civilian air defense squadron in California that still exists to this day. Shortly after, he joins the Air Force as a flight instructor and trains Navy pilots throughout World War II. He's kind of a legend in the aviation world. Now, in the 50s and 60s, he had a fantastic career in film, working with some of the biggest stars and directors in the business. Eventually, he makes the transition to TV, even headlining his own show in 3 different iterations. And he guest starred on about everything there was, even The Love Boat in 1979. Now, tragically, while working for the big studios, he also became addicted to methamphetamine through vitamin injections he was being given by the studio doctors. Naturally, his addiction eventually spilled over into his work and his relationships. The turning point seemed to come in 1965 when he was written off of his own TV show called My Living Doll with Julie Newmar. After that, the parts come fewer and farther between. His behavior became more erratic, and he lost all his money. He had some legal troubles and was even implicated in a Ponzi scheme at one time. His marriages eventually all failed, his health declined, and he eventually died broke, alone, and in a nursing home for indigent actors in Hollywood in 1990. What an incredible and tragic story arc for Robert Cummings. From fake identities to being the original Top Gun flight instructor. From starring in Alfred Hitchcock films to battling addiction and losing literally everything. I'm always surprised when I go digging for these buried bones. And with that, let's get back to the movie. Things are really starting to crank up from here, and it all happens pretty fast once Lorna and Chuck execute their plan. We get to see why the movie is called The Chase, with a great sequence through the streets of Havana. I'll drop back in when things settle down a bit, and they have made the big plot twist in the movie. We can all catch up together then before the climax. When we last left them, Chuck had just laid down to wait for Lorna to call so they could go on their nightly drive and make their escape. So let's get back to The Chase, right here on Buried Bones.
Jeff, what's the...
do you think they've gone, Gino?
I don't have to think, I know. To Havana on a Cuba. Found it in a wastebasket. What do you want me to do?
Play the other side.
I didn't know you were a musician.
Haven't played in a long time. Still scared?
I'm getting over it. But you don't get over 3 years of terror in one night.
He couldn't follow us here.
What's our first stop?
Havana.
Looks like all roads lead to Havana.
That's what you wanted, wasn't it?
I owe you $1,000.
Who did it belong to before?
They don't ask you that when you spend it. Chuck.
That's not our boat.
How much time do we have?
Forget time.
You think we'll make it?
We've got to.
Señor, el caballo no puede estar aquí toda la noche.
Hey, what are we stopping here for?
El caballo no puede estar aquí toda la noche.
What was that?
The horse is tired.
Take us back to the boat. Did you hear me? Take us back to the boat.
I already told you the horse is tired.
Chuck, let's get out.
Say, our boat leaves in an hour for South America. How much of a walk is it from here to the dock?
Yo no entiendo bien inglés. Vamos, Pancho.
What did he say?
Something about not understanding English.
Must not understand money either. Didn't take his fare.
Chuck, what do we do now?
I don't know. Let's get a drink.
All right.
No, wait a minute. We should go back to the boat.
Who's afraid now?
Still scared?
Pardon, senor.
In a dream song and guitars in a theme song, you're a promise of love. Havana, lovers thrill to your splendors as your harbor surrenders to the moon high
Don't need any steam heat here.
To steam heat. Tell me again.
I love you, darling. I love you.
Darling, I don't care what happens now. I just don't care.
Lorre, don't keep saying that. Please don't keep saying it.
I won't. I won't say it anymore. Because I do care.
Havana, will you whim of tomorrow in this passion to sorrow? Break your
quieto.
promise of
Lorre.
What's the matter?
Lorre. Lorre. Lorre.
Mark on his scar? Knife wound. No other marks.
We're waiting, Mr. Scott.
Oh, can I make you understand you've got the wrong man? I loved her.
You loved her, so you killed her. That's understandable.
She was all I had.
So you made sure no one could take her from you.
Oh, you're blind. Why would we come all this way together?
I let you tell me why. Just answer 3 questions. How long had this woman been in Havana?
Oh, we got off the boat around 6 o'clock this evening.
8 hours ago. Had she ever been here before?
No.
Did she know anyone here, anyone at all?
No.
There is your answer. Do you still insist somebody else did it? In a place where she had just arrived, in a place where she had never been in her life before? And above all, with your own knife.
It wasn't my knife.
But you just admitted a moment ago it was your
I didn't admit it was my knife. I merely said it looked like my knife, but it wasn't.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. The knife you bought. You did buy a knife.
Yes, I bought a knife!
Save your strength, my friend. You may need it. Your knife. Let me see. Describe it again, please.
On the handle of the knife I had, the little carbuncle was holding his ears. The knife you've got, he's covering his eyes. You can see that.
It's covering his eyes, but not mine.
Don't joke. If you don't believe me, ask the shopkeeper. Find out what kind of a knife I bought.
Are you sure this is the place?
Yeah, that's it.
I repeat, for a stranger in Havana, you certainly found an out-of-the-way place in a very much of a hurry.
We didn't find it. I told you a guide brought us here.
I know. The guide who kept pestering you, the one who drove you to the nightclub, huh?
You don't believe anything, do you?
My clients have a chronic tendency to color the truth. You first, Mr. Scott. Just a moment, please. Not so quick. Where is Chin?
I'm Chin.
I'm Lieutenant Acosta, Homicide Squad.
What can I do for you?
Madam, will you please tell these gentlemen...
We'll ask the questions. Take a look at this man here. Did you ever see him before?
Yes.
When?
The gentleman was here earlier tonight.
Alone?
No, he was with a lady.
Did he buy anything?
Silk handkerchief for a lady.
That that all?
The gentleman also bought a knife.
What kind of knife?
A knife with a jade handle, to cut letters, to cut fruit, to hang on a wall, maybe.
Describe the jade handle.
The jade handle had a carved monkey.
We know that. Describe the monkey.
Monkey was holding his eyes. So.
Oh, you're crazy. I bought the one that was holding his ears.
The gentleman is mistaken.
Are you sure the one he bought was holding its eyes?
They come three to a set. First one assaulted his gentleman. The others I still have. I can show you.
Show me.
These are imported from Hong Kong. I only ordered one set. Cost too much. Never sold any except to this gentleman. See?
Well, Mr. Scott?
I don't understand. I'm sure I bought this one. The one that's holding its ears.
Why did you buy any knife?
I didn't buy I didn't intend to buy a knife, but Lorna was looking for jade, and she said the only jade she had was on the knife handles. And the one we finally bought was this one. The one that's holding its ears.
Perhaps Madame Chin switched to the knives, huh?
She must have.
Did you ever see Chin before?
No.
Then why would she change the knives? Answer me! Why would she change the knives?
I don't know.
Because you are a stranger, and only because you are a stranger, we've given you every chance to clear yourself. You should have been locked up an hour ago. Admit it. You know you killed her. Admit it!
All right.
Then you did kill her.
Yes.
Why, Mr. Scott?
Because she was afraid. Because she wanted to go back.
Back? Where?
To her husband.
Her husband?
Her name wasn't Mrs. Scott. Her name was Mrs. Eddie Roman. We left Miami together last night on the Cuba. We docked here this morning. Didn't leave our cabin till it was dark. Wound up in that nightclub. We had a drink there.
Mr. Scott, you are a gentleman. Only from the viewpoint of the police, of course. Have a cigarette. Pablo! What's that? Ahí va! Aquí va, aquí va! ¿No viste su nombre?
Sí, subió hasta el último piso.
¡Arriba! Quédese allí.
Muy bien, jefe.
El escape del regente.
Vamos a empezar abajo. Está buena idea, Ana.
en el edificio, no hay señas de él abajo.
No puede haber escapado por la escalera de emergencia.
Busquen en todos los cuartos.
¿Y este cuarto qué vamos a hacer con él?
Debe estar aquí en este edificio.
Vamos a buscarlo. Tiene que estar aquí adentro.
¡Abran la puerta! ¡Es la autoridad! ¡Abran la puerta! ¡Adelante!
Fuera de aquí, no quiero ningún negocio aquí en mi casa,
Si no
¿sabes?
se calla, me la llevo a la cárcel.
No calle nada.
No está en este piso. Vámonos para abajo.
Si él está en el edificio, lo encontraremos.
Seguro, vamos.
¡Pronto!
Thanks a lot. Say, you never saw me before, but you helped me. Why?
Cops. I hate cops.
Is there, any other way out of here?
Only the way you came in. Americano?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an American. Miss, I just thought of something. Do you know the man that takes the pictures at the La Habana Club? You know, the little flashlight photographs? Not that it matters now, but I just thought that maybe he did get something. And if he did, it might...
Happy? 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 No. We pay you the same as we paid the last time, and not 1 cent more.
Then perhaps I do business elsewhere.
Look, we run the stuff across, not you. What do you have to do? Just wear out that seat. Of course, that you do.
I don't mind assuming the usual business risks, but when it comes to knifing women...
Knifing women? All you did is switch a couple of knives.
I had a visit from the police tonight. They asked a lot of questions. In our business, you can't afford visits from the police.
No. business.
I don't think so.
No? Who's going to buy your stuff?
You are.
Yeah? Why?
If you don't, certain people may find out certain things which you might not want mentioned.
Sorry you said that.
I'm sorry it had to be said.
I could never make it alone. I could never make it alone. I could never make it alone. I could never make it
Hospital. Commander Davidson, just a moment, please.
Commander Davidson's office? Who? Oh, of course I remember you, Scott. Yes, he's here. Of course you may. Just a minute. Chuck Scott would like to speak to you, sir.
Fine.
He's on the phone.
Oh.
Hello, Chuck. You said if I ever needed you, I could call? Well, I need you now. Yes, sir. Well, it's happened again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be there as soon as I can get there. Thanks, sir.
Take it easy, Chuck. Now, let's try and start with the beginning.
doesn't seem to be any beginning. All I can remember is the end of it.
Sit down, Chuck.
Yeah, but this outfit. Where did I get this uniform? And the room I woke up in. How'd I get in that house?
Let's talk about what you remember. Forget about the uniform.
Well, yes, I was running away from the police. In Havana. In the middle of the night.
But, Chuck, you haven't been to Havana in 3 or 4 years, to my knowledge. So we can eliminate that. That's dream stuff. But the girl that you met here in Miami, that's real. The girl that you drove to the beach. The one that wanted to know what's out there straight ahead. That girl.
Yes. But that's all I remember. What she said.
But the beach. You said you remembered the beach.
Yeah, the beach. But that's all.
Why do you keep looking at the clock?
I don't know, Doc. I keep feeling that there's something that I've got to do.
Don't let that worry you. That's symptomatic in shock cases. But you did remember to call me. You did remember to come here. You're pretty well out of it, Chuck.
Yes, but I keep feeling that
I know. Technically, this would be identified in a case such as yours as an anxiety neurosis. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But it's not, Chuck. Believe me, it's not. You understand?
Yes. I still keep feeling that I've...
I got the tickets for Havana, both days, 11 o'clock tonight. Now listen carefully. Have dinner with them as usual. 9:30, say you want to take a drive. I'll be waiting in my room. See you later.
And now, on with the show.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons. It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Are you confused yet? Yeah, blew my mind too the first time. And then I spent so much time trying to wrap my head around what didn't happen that I kind of missed what did happen from there. So you remember my last host break, Chuck had just laid down in his room to wait for Lorna to call at 9:30. They would pretend to go for a drive and instead board a ship for Havana. That was the moment that Chuck fell asleep. From there, until we see him wake up in a sweat and take his pills, that all didn't happen. He dreamt it all. The escape to Havana, the chase, even his own murder was all just a dream. And not just a dream, but now Chuck also has amnesia going back to before the dream. He can't remember how he got there or why he's even in the chauffeur's uniform. He isn't certain now if Lorna was even real in the first place. Now, it's just my opinion, but the more it's soaked in, the more I really appreciate the wild plot twist. I admit it's pretty jarring, and I can see why some folks wouldn't like it. However, I think it works in the regard that it puts us more in the point of view of our main guy, Chuck. He's dazed and confused. He has no idea what's real and if he can even trust his own perception. We wake up from the dream with him and are forced to try and piece together what was real and what wasn't, right along with our hero. I enjoy movies that make me think, and I enjoy movies that make me feel something. And in that regard, I thought this one fires on all cylinders. I wanted to point out the odd treatment of Chuck's PTSD. The doc here uses the phrase anxiety neurosis, but that's a pretty vague term. Today, we would call this severe post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. This movie is being made just after World War II, and it would have likely been called battle fatigue then. There wasn't much treatment for it, and I cannot even begin to guess what Chuck's pills would have been. Now, on one hand, I find it very progressive that there seems to be no stigma surrounding Chuck's PTSD. He has already seen a psychiatrist, and there's no judgment or reaction to him calling the doc and coming back in for more help. Chuck is self-aware and following his own treatment plan. It isn't portrayed as a sign of weakness or even uncommon. Chuck is still the masculine hero trying to rescue the girl. His mental illness is just that, an illness to be managed like diabetes. When did we lose this attitude? Chuck makes one phone call, and he had someone to help him without hesitation or reproach. Chuck didn't even see it as an affront to his manhood to be able to talk about his feelings or to seek help. Now, on the other hand, the help offered to him kind of sucks. Chuck comes to the doc with serious amnesia, waking nightmares of being chased and murdered. This dude is having a complete psychotic break. What does the doc do? Offers to take him to the local nightclub for drinks. I'm sure that's what he needs on top of those prescription pills he's taking. The summation of Doc's treatment for this episode is, try to relax, all you need is a drink. The club they go to is fabulous. The design and architecture is super modern, and I love how the director makes use of the layout for suspense. Watch for some cool camera work too. I think this movie is beautifully shot. So you're up to speed now on what was a dream and Chuck's amnesia. Chuck hasn't been killed in the slums of Havana. Lorna is still ready to escape, and Roman is still getting suspicious. So let's all get back to The Chase from 1946, right here on Buried Bones.
Dinner with him as usual. 9:30, so you want to take a drive. I'll be waiting in my room. See you later.
Be happy, Lorna. We're going to have fun tonight. I'm going to take you out. We'll go to the Florida Club. Or would you rather go for a ride? Take a look at the ocean. Scotty showed me a rendezvous this afternoon. Got a very nice view. You're very nervous this evening, Lorna. What's the matter?
Job. Will you please tell Scotty to bring the car around?
Scotty's gone.
Gone?
Yeah, quit. He saw him leave. Even yelled after him. Didn't even turn around. It's going to cost you $125 for a new uniform.
Still want to go for that ride?
Thanks, no.
Good evening, Commander.
Good evening, Ben.
What'd you bring me here for, sir?
Are you drink? Still like bourbon?
Yes, sir, Andy.
2 bourbons and water, Ben.
Yes, sir.
A drink will do you a lot of good. It'll help you let go, relieve the tension. That's all you need, Chuck. Ben, turn the clock to the wall.
What's the idea?
My friend is a clock watcher.
I don't understand you, Lorna. I just don't understand you. Why don't you answer it? Might be Scotty.
It couldn't be Scotty. How could it be Scotty? Gino said
Maybe he quit. Maybe he didn't. Answer the phone. Answer it.
Hello? It's for you.
Yes? Who wants to talk to him? The Fats. Yeah, I wanted to see you. Talk to you about your place. Yeah, I'll be right over. Wait for me. No, alone. Been reading the paper, huh? Mr. Johnson was an obstinate man. I don't like obstinate people.
Edie. Edie. Can't we talk things over together, like two civilized human beings? All I want.
I know. All you want is to leave this house.
The way I came in. I had nothing then, and I'm asking for nothing when I leave. Just let me go.
Living in this house for 3 years, you must have found out a lot of things.
I wouldn't tell anyone.
Joe.
Eddie. Please, Eddie. Don't have him lock me in.
Joe. Joe. Keep this door locked, Joe. Mrs. Roman's not to leave her room till I get back. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Doc. Her name was Lorna. Lorna. Lorna, what? Lorna, what? What was her name?
Good evening, Mr. Roman.
Hello, Sally. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hello, Albert. Your kid's waiting for you.
Thank you, Mr. Roman.
Good evening, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
And how's Mrs. Roman tonight?
Quite well, thank you, Albert.
She'll be joining you later?
No.
How about a little supper, Mr. Roman?
No, I think I'd like a bottle of wine.
Lanson 28.
Yes, sir.
Lanson 28, sir.
Yes, sir.
Eddie, why don't you let me have him picked up? How far can he get in that uniform? They'll grab him in a minute.
Chuck, I've got to make a phone call. I'll be back in a minute. Yes.
Are you listening? Why don't you let me have him picked up?
What I want to know, I can't ask him in the police station.
Oh. What do you think the deal was? Eddie, don't get mad, but they had something cooked up. What I can't get is the guy running out.
Maybe he didn't.
Look, Doc Davison.
Hello? I'm still at the Florida Club. Yes, Louis. Oh? Well, I'll be back in about a half an hour. Bye.
Oh, Doc.
Oh, hello, Rowan.
Hello, Doc.
Hi, Doctor.
How's the Navy?
Fine.
Commander, huh?
Look at all the spinach.
You've done all right for yourself.
Not bad. How's Mrs. Rowan?
Fine, thanks. Haven't seen you since you joined.
Yes, it has been some time.
Oh, won't you sit down and join us?
No, thank you. I have a friend waiting for me at the bar. may stay in. How do you like Sawyer?
Turned your practice over to a swell guy. I like him very much. So does Lorna.
Lorna?
Lorna? Mrs. Roman.
Why, of course. It was silly of me.
Sure you won't join us for that drink?
No, thank you. My friend's still waiting for me. Nice seeing you. Remember me to your wife.
Joe, keep away from that door.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Job, like in the Bible.
I didn't think you were coming. I didn't think you believed any of the things I told you.
I believed you. Want to buy your place, Fats?
Sure, I'd like to sell you the place, Eddie, but I don't like the way you buy.
Pardon me, will you okay this check?
Aren't you afraid you missed your boat, Eddie?
What did you say, Fats?
I said, aren't you afraid you'll miss your boat?
What boat?
Aren't you leaving for Havana tonight?
What are you talking about?
I swear I saw your car at the docks this afternoon. Okay. It's a secret. It's all right.
Start all over. Only slower this time.
I saw your chauffeur buy 2 tickets for... Skip it. I didn't see a thing.
Gino, call the house.
They're on the Cuba. They left 15 minutes ago.
If they're on the Cuba, they left 15 minutes ago, but I don't think they're on the Cuba. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. I don't think they're on the Cuba. Find a mistake and we'll find them on the... Yeah, here it is. The Cristobal. Freighter. East Pier 42, 11:30. Watch the road. I'm taking over.
Time we shoving off?
Rate they're loading. Another hour, maybe 2.
No, they're still loading. We won't pull out of here for another hour yet. I'll stay down on the pier till we leave. Bad break. Only 2 ships leaving for Havana tonight, this and the Cuba. Keep this door bolted.
dry. So many dumb ways to die.
Who is it?
Chuck.
I didn't think you'd ever get back. Chuck, will this boat ever get started?
It doesn't matter now.
What do you mean? Tell me again.
I love you.
I want you to keep telling me that as long as we're together.
That'll be forever.
Yes,
Mrs. Benson,
that's right.
is your husband at home?
No, I'm a widow.
What I should have asked was, are you the owner of this house?
No, I'm not. It belongs to my father-in-law. What is it you want?
I'm John Barron, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm afraid we're going to have to hang around for a while. Nobody leaves the house until we do.
Why not? What's happened?
At 5 p.m. this afternoon, the President of the United States arrives in town on a special.
The president? Why, that's the greatest thing ever happened to this town.
If anybody wanted to kill the President, he could do a beautiful job of it right from this window of yours.
Somebody's driving up to the house.
Who is it?
It's time.
He's the sheriff.
Who's with him?
Mr. Carney, Secret Service.
Like Mr. Barron?
Who? Barron. Oh, you didn't know. You boys got here ahead of you.
Shut up! One sound from the kid, Pop, and he's dead.
They're planning to assassinate the President of the United States. He arrives here this afternoon.
We've got to do something. We got to find a flaw in his plan. We'll think of something.
Without the gun, you would never notice me. But because of the gun, you'll remember me as long as you live.
The source material for The Chase was Cornell Woolrich's book, The Black Path of Fear. Woolrich was a prolific crime novelist and considered to be one of the greatest of all time. He had over 40 films adapted from his novels and short stories, and numerous works adapted for stage, TV, and radio. Now, this story was adapted into episodes of the TV series Suspense 3 times. Once in 1944, again in 1946 with Cary Grant as the lead, and a third time in 1949. There are at least 2 radio adaptations out there, and it was adapted for television in 1954. As film adaptations go, The Chase is pretty unfaithful to the original. The Hays Code production of the time forced the studio to rewrite most of the actual climax from the book into the dream sequence so that they didn't have to show the consequences for the criminal behavior portrayed, as according to the Hays Code. Now, in the original, Lorna is dead, Chuck re-enlists into the Navy, and Roman dies by his own attack dog. Pretty bleak, right? Now, in order for a happier ending, they added in Roman's weird car controls so that he could die in the end, freeing Chuck and Lorna to be together. So despite being one of the worst adaptions of the source material, I still think it turned out to be a great film. I thought the direction and the camera work was outstanding. Arthur Ripley really draws some great performances out of the cast, and I totally plan to check out his other two feature films, Voice in the Wind from 1944 and Thunder Road in 1958. I especially loved the art direction from Robert Usher. The attention to detail in the slum chase sequence was incredible. I have paused the film several times just to drink in all the tiny elements in the quarantine woman's room or the crowded Havana nightclub. The gangster Roman's house looks like Liberace and Donald Trump got drunk and decorated together. It's so gaudy, it's cartoonish. It sounds to me like what really hurt the film was the struggle behind the scenes to match an already failing Hays Code. And I also read they had difficult time with the Cuban government over the way they portrayed Havana. I would love to see someone pick up Cornell Woolrich's original story and adapt it to the screen with all the resources it deserves. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and I hope you did too. I'm sure it's one I will revisit again and again in the future. So for the world's best horror hosts and movie hosts, be sure to check out The Vortex at horrorhost.net. It's a 24/7 interactive movie channel with a vibrant community of fans and followers. Streaming continuously since 2010, The Vortex has pioneered the format of combining live streaming with live chat. Drop by every night at 9 Eastern for the daily feature, and be sure to check out the Facebook page too. Everything is free with no subscriptions or memberships. So that's it for this episode, friends and fiends. Please be sure to give this video a like or subscribe on whatever platform you're watching it on, and constructive comments are always welcome. I'm your host, Cerberus. Thanks for watching Buried Bones.